I'm Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Angela.
We are the Ink Mages. Join us as we discuss all things fantasy, world building, storycraft, myths and legends, and of course, our own imaginative stories.
Hello and welcome to the Ink Mages podcast. We're so glad you've joined us today. We are going to be doing a book review because we just finished our second, or actually it's our third buddy read. Yay!
It is.
And this was a beast of a book, a big epic fantasy. I mean, it's in the title, The Epic of Marindel, Chosen. It says every person has a story. Every story is a part of something greater. So this book is like epic world building at its finest. If you love Avatar, The Last Airbender, which we do here at the Ink Mages, then you'll probably get a kick out of this book because it has a lot of friendships, adventure, young characters just going on a big journey and finding out there's a bigger story and a bigger world out there than where they came from.
Yeah, I think what I've enjoyed, I actually read this book, the author, Nathan Keyes, who is an author friend of ours. I actually read this book, I don't know, probably 4 years ago, when I was first writing my very first book. Well, I guess so, maybe be a little longer ago than that. I love how it's the Epic of Marindel, and this one is Chosen. It's actually in a series. So this is the second book. It is Redemption. Super good. Also very meaty and chunky, and not quite as chunky as this one. And he's working on the third book. So I'm super excited about that. Right. But one of the things that's so fun is the theme of this book is chosen. And it follows a series of different characters, POVs. You've got Connor, and who is just this, he's kind of comes from a farm family, and he is a storyteller, and then you've got Tarento, who's a samurai.
Very cool.
Yes, and it also Celine is a thief.
Yep.
And so you have these really interesting characters, and then there's even within the story, there's this other background story that's kind of developing, that where you have Melody and Eli. This is a very strong Christian allegory, and I love that about this book. But what I probably one of my favorite thing, because you have these different flavors. You have these characters that are going from town to town that are all having these experiences, and you find yourself in one of the characters. I think, like, for Connor, that was kind of the character that I really identified with while I was reading the story, and kind of their experiences as they're meeting the King of Marindel, who is kind of an allegory of, the God figure in the story, and them being chosen despite all of the things. And so I really had a good time reading it. I liked going through the adventures, the different towns, the different feel to everything. It's almost like you've got this world, like Stephanie said, you're world building, but you've got this world of, different places that are entirely different from one another. So each town or city that you kind of jump into, you've got this whole world that explodes. Each place is a world all in and of itself.
It starts very like with Connor. He's a young farmer. And it's very medieval in that sequence setting. And then when you meet Tarento, it's samurai. So there's a whole different feel for the architecture and the clothing and the way they talk. And if you like old Japan and samurais, well, Tarento was my favorite for that reason. And then when you meet Celine, it's like
Arabian Nights.
Arabian Nights. I was gonna say Agrabah. And the town, the city's like Sisera. So it definitely has that Agrabah feel. And I can just imagine the city and the alleys, like Aladdin is running around trying to steal things.
Yes. And at the same time, you're getting a feel for this all-encompassing world that these characters, how they've met, where they've come from, and how they're beginning to go on this journey together. How it all kind of combines and goes together in this epic scene. And then even in book 2, it really even brings it in even more solidly with some Greek mythology wound in there really tightly, which again brings in all of these magical creatures. And that's actually in this book as well. You've got some of those kind of mythological beings that kind of make an appearance. And it just makes it a really fun adventure. And I didn't feel like when I was reading it that I needed to just go through it super quickly. Like I actually wanted to take my time in each character, in each part of the story as I'm walking through this adventure with them.
Yeah, there was some cool action sequences. It's good fight scenes. And I was all about that.
With
And
Tarento, right?
with Tarento.
Yeah,
Exactly.
this is
So
samurai.
I enjoyed that. Yes. And there's a villain. And so the
Yeah.
villain is, his name's Jadis.
Yes.
And I think he's kind of a sorcerer. I would have liked to seen more of him, but I'm sure there's a book too. But he seems like an intriguing character, and I wanted him to antagonize more.
Yes. Yeah. And there's other characters in the story as well that they definitely get highlighted a little bit more in book 2, but they are some of my favorite characters. And one of them is Scourge, who
Yeah.
he has electrokinesis or electrokinetic.
Yeah. I think of Zuko. That's what I think of when it's Scourge. I just think, okay, he's like Zuko. He can shoot lightning or fire out of it.
And I love him because, you know, you can tell he's got this dark background, and yet he comes off so pure and innocent. And I really love that about his character. I happen to know that Nathan is actually writing a background story on that character's, you know, like where he came from, kind of origin story kind of thing. And I love it. I'm sorry to have a favorite, but so far that's my favorite thing that Nathan has written. And I'm really, really enjoying that one. But Scourge definitely, I think, is one of my favorite characters. I really, really like him. If there was a book written on one of the characters, that's the book that I would want to read because, and he is definitely in the first book, really strongly, and he captures your attention. Go ahead.
Does he become a POV character in book 2?
Yes.
Very cool. Okay.
You've kind of got this team. You also have the names are escaping me, but you've got this team that's developing, and there's more than just the characters that we mentioned. You know, you've got a whole team.
There's like Jake, Yoko, Kai. There's a few that travel with Connor and Tarento. So lots of flavor, lots of different dynamics. There's even a knight. There's a lot of characters. So if you love stories with lots of characters, a few multi point of views, then this is definitely one you will enjoy.
This is something that, especially again, if you have kids who like The Last Airbender, or they like adventures like this is a book that's totally good for them to read, that they would have a lot of fun with, and packs a punch. And I think, and the bottom line is, you will feel as you're reading it that you're chosen. Like you're in the midst with these characters, and you kind of start to have this idea that you arrive at, that I'm part of this adventure too. I'm chosen, and that there's something important about me as I'm going about my life as well, which I think is a really great message.
Especially if you don't feel like you're chosen because of your past. And that's where the Celine character comes in. Like,
very strongly.
Thief definitely doesn't feel like she should be called or be chosen for this grand quest, but
yes,
and then you've got sees differently.
and then Melody and Eli. So this background story that's kind of intermingled in through the Chosen book. Melody is basically that. She is a character who screwed up so badly. She feels that there is no redemption for her or reason for her to be chosen. And I love that there is a kind of slow build with her character. Anyway, she's a highlight. And if you haven't followed Nathan Keys on social media, you should. So you find him on Instagram. But he has all of these great graphics for his characters. So you kind of get a feel and a sense before you even start reading who these characters are. And he does these great little personality profiles for each of his characters. So you kind of have an idea, because there's so many different flavors in this story that just make it a fun deep dive.
And so go check it out. But here on the Ink Mages, we are doing a special giveaway for this book.
Ooh.
So I am going to be giving away my copy of the Epic of Marindel to a special someone. Please leave a comment, share our video, tell us why you love our podcast for a chance to win this copy. This is going to be just for US residents. So sorry if you're not in the US, but I want to give this copy to someone to enjoy. So,
yes,
check it out and leave a comment.
Yep. So just interact with us and you'll be entered to win. We're super excited that you watched the Ink Mages, that you're with us. We've got some great author interviews coming up and some good editors' corners coming up here soon too. So really excited to have you join us, and we'll see you next time.